Hi, I'm Sarah. You guys, the day is here. We are so excited to have Tiffany Mitchell in the house. BB23, America's favorite house guest, but also just the mastermind of the whole season. BB23 is her season. I'm so excited to have her here. Everybody say hello to Tiffany.
Hi, guys. Hey,
America. We are so excited you're here. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's
Thank
dive
you
in.
for
I know
having me.
You're a busy girl. You got lots of conversations to have, but I want to take it back a little bit. You represent us. You're a longtime fan.
Yes.
What was the audition process for you? Have you auditioned several times? Was your first time?
This was actually my first time. I sent in my audition tape last year. So I'll tell you how it started. I saw that they were holding casting. I'm like, oh, they've got open calls. I'm so much better in person than I am on video. I'm going to go in person. I had my trip to PA all planned out. I'm like, I'm going to go and rock this open call, right? So then COVID hits and they're like, we're not doing open calls. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. Now I got to do a video. I totally suck on video. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll just do it anyway and see how it goes. So I had already read Dan Giesling's How to Be Casted on a Reality Show, and he definitely suggested a video. So my son and I, we're like, he's filming me. I've got my script together. I sent it in 2020, like March. I actually sent it in several times, just so you guys know. So if you want to send in your video, don't just send it in once. I tell you a little secret. A little secret of mine is I had to send it in from multiple email addresses. So I don't know which one they got it from, but I was not stopping at one submit. So that's my little secret. And Sarah, you're the first person I've told that to. So I didn't even tell that to casting. So
Nice.
Yeah, so I sent it in a couple of times, at least 6. So
wow. That's a really good tip.
Yes, somebody saw it somewhere. I flooded some emails somewhere, and then I didn't hear anything, and I was like, "Well, I suck." But I'll tell you one thing, and this is just something that I personally believe in. I was intentionally focusing my attention on the positivity. I was definitely as optimistic as I could be about anything, saying, "I am going to make it. I am going to be on Big Brother." I have my journal. My journal in 2020 says, "I'm going on Big Brother. I am going to rock it. These are the plans I'm going to have to make. I'm going to have to put my son here, do this." So anyway, you asked me, I sent my tape in, and I got a call this year, and they did tell me that they got my my audition tape from last year, and they wanted to call me in 2020. However, it was COVID. They went with the all-star cast. I was thinking if I was going to reapply this year, and then I was like, I don't know. They didn't call me last year, but before I could even go any further, I got a call. So I auditioned one time. It's just bring your energy, know yourself, be able to tell your story. You can't go in there and go like, yeah, so I don't know anything about me. Like, they want you to be able to tell your story. If you don't know anything about anything, you should always know about you.
Right. Right.
Hi,
well, I mean, one look at you. I mean, yes, please. Of course you would be cast. Speaking of Dan, though, have you gotten has he acknowledged you? Has he given you the credit you deserve?
Dan is very low key. You know, he is not like a super BB fan anymore, I don't think. But he did acknowledge me back in July when I guess it was shown, it was recorded that I was surprised that he would even know who I was. I'm like, how would he know me? And I'm like, oh my God, that's how he would know me, like if he's watching. And so he did acknowledge that. And he also did acknowledge, he congratulated me on winning America's Favorite Player, which was definitely dope to get some acknowledgement from him, because I always thought he was just, Dan blew me away. Dan's funeral, I was trying to come up with my own funeral, my eulogy, my anything in that house.
Well, you did it. Okay, when you entered the house, your social game, your Tiffany's hair salon was like the first week we were like, oh, hello, this Tiffany person here. Did you realize that was going to be how you got the ball rolling, I guess?
I said that going into the house. I told my family, I'm like, I'm just going to have to braid some hair or something. I'm going to have to do something to stay in this house. I knew I wasn't going to cook. I can cook for like 5 people. Cooking for 16 people was never going to happen. I'm like, I'll clean. I knew I could clean, but I think everybody would jump in and clean. So I knew I was going to try to do something to make myself stand out. And when people found out I had braided my own hair, they were like, can you braid mine? And of course, Christian wanted his hair braided right away. Once they saw Christian's hair, it was on from there. So he is like my model.
We could not keep up with all of Christian's looks. We were like, who is this?
He was my favorite. I loved his hair. I would braid. Listen, even after we left the house and we had a little time outside of the house, Christian just walks up to me and goes, Tiff. And I always know when he says, Tiff, that means, can you braid my hair? I was like, hey, look, we are not in the house anymore. I don't owe you anything. I'm not trying to buy your vote anymore.
You were like, this was my game.
Yeah, I'm worth a little more now, honey. I need some money.
That's right. Okay, well, to be honest, though, okay, your social game was beautiful. But then there was a time when your social game with the members of the cookout was different, and I started to get a little worried about you. Were you aware of that difference or what was going on?
Yeah. I was aware, and it just easily may be a cultural thing. In Black families, we argue, we fuss, we fight, we don't see eye to eye, we don't like each other all the time. There's a lot of things that are going to be said, and then you're going to come right back and be like, you hungry? Here, I fixed you some food. But I was aware that I was not I was not as loved by the people in the cookout as I was by the people outside of the cookout. And I don't know what that was. A part of me feels that I did something to rub Big D the wrong way the first week. I have no idea how I so strongly rubbed him the wrong way, but he just week 1 decided that he did not like to work with me. And so then Azza and I love Azza, and she was like, I'm like, we've got this sister girl thing going on. And so I'm trying to have conversations with her about game. And I realized that we are just thinking totally differently about this game. And we weren't seeing eye to eye. And I think her and Big D being together in that room, being on the same team, having conversations about people they get along with and people they don't. I just think I was one of those people that they did not get along with. And so they fed that, and that fed into something even bigger. And so I just really I don't think I had a chance with them for a long time. And I knew that.
Do you think the week when you played wild card and targeted Brittany, that to me looked like that was like a turning point for you guys? Maybe it had already before.
It was already turning for sure, but that was the turning point. And we all knew what needed to be done. And Azza couldn't understand why I played that game the way I did. Xavier pulled me to the side before I even played in that wild card comp and told me that I needed to win it at whatever cost. So that meant Derek couldn't win it because Brent would be safe, and Brittany couldn't win it because he wanted her to be available. And I understand that Azza and Derek had loyalties to Brittany, but we had loyalty to each other. I could have told Azza at that time, well, Xavier told me to do this, but I didn't feel like it was my responsibility to expose the way he was playing holding his head of household reign. He was head of household. Right. I did not want to get on his bad side. So instead of me putting his business out there, I kind of took the heat for that, and they didn't like it. But we all knew that what I was doing was to move the cookout further, but it wasn't taken that way.
Right. Do you regret that at all, or is that just the way they took it? Yeah.
Nothing. One thing I had to realize, Sarah, and I realized this by that time, nothing I could say would make anyone feel better about the decisions I had made. They had already formulated this opinion about me, and anything that I would say to defend myself, or it did not help make it any easier or any better. So at that point, I just decided, hey, whatever.
Right.
Think what you want to think,
Yeah. Well, week 3, you were a have-not, and you barely slept. Trying to keep up with you. I thought you were unraveling. I was not sleeping. I was concerned for you that week. But then out of all of that, You hit the master plan.
You guys sent me all the energy. I was praying and praying and praying for a miracle. I needed something. I was unraveling, Sarah. I did not know what to do. I had loyalties that I trusted and alliances that I trusted, people who were working with me that I trusted, that I had great relationships with outside of the cookout. But then there was the six that I knew we wanted to work together and move forward, but we did not have a plan. And so that night that Claire and I were sitting there talking about, hey, everybody's in a duo, we need to embrace this duo thing, I was really struggling with, what am I about to do? Am I going to move forward with Claire, or am I going to move forward with the cookout? And so I don't know if you guys know, but I really looked at the camera and was like, I am about to play my own game. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to play my own game. I actually cried myself to sleep that night. I was like, I feel so conflicted. I think people are going to hate me. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I came here to win. And then I woke up that morning and I just heard Money Can't Buy You Love was playing in my head. And what it meant to me was I could abandon the mission and totally turn my back on the cookout and go to try to win this money. But would I be happy with my decision? Would I be fulfilled with the way I actually played this game? Yes, money would make things easier for me, but how would I really feel about the way I got the money? And who was even to say that I would win the money? And so I decided then that I'm going to choose the cookout, and I need to figure out a plan for how to get us there. I played with those chess pieces every day. You guys know that I was always moving these chess pieces around. And so I grabbed that chessboard and I was like, what is it? What am I seeing? What am I not seeing? How can we do it? And I'm telling you, before I went to bed, I was like, America, send me some energy. Tell me what to do. Help me. I need to feel it. I need to feel what to do. And I don't know if anybody believes in that or not, but I woke up and I felt it. I felt it. I figured it out within the first hour of me waking up. I was just alone in the have-not room. And I was like, you know what? If I do this and we do this and we do that and we do that, wait a minute, hold on, wait, this looks right. I think this is it.
Right? No, you guys would go to that chessboard, and unfortunately the camera wouldn't show us the chessboard, and you guys were like, how about this? And then what about this? And we were like, what? Who's what piece? What is it? Like, we really did appreciate your cam talks. That was super, super helpful that you remembered to do that. You're a fan. You get it.
I had to talk to somebody I could trust, and America was my only friend.
We were there for you. It's so true.
Thank you.
Well, now let's say if you were in an alternate universe here and the cookout was not a thing this season, who would you have ridden to the end there with?
I would have stuck with me, Chada, Claire, DX, and Kyland. And even if it was a 6, I would have had Sarah Beth in there.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I would have.
Okay, let's talk about Sarah Beth.
Okay.
We spent weeks with you obsessed about Sarah Beth. How much of it was game, or how much was it paranoia that you were very worried about her?
50-50. So when she told Kyland about the jackpot, I realized that she was closer to him than she was to me and Claire. And I only saw her really building her relationship with Kyland. And so I didn't feel that she was working on a relationship with anybody else. So I started not to trust her. And then Kyland and I had a final 2. We were in the Connect together. And I felt that his relationship with her was way closer than his relationship with me. So I did not like that either. Also, I was able to have a relationship with everyone else in the house, meaning that if anyone won HOH, I could knock on their door and kind of figure out what they were going to do with that HOH. Everyone except for Sarah Beth. So a lot of it was game, but was I paranoid about her game? Yes, because apparently she wasn't even targeting me.
Right? It was all very wild. I mean, when you guys were talking about a plane that said SBJ, we were like, oh, dear Lord,
So
they
yes,
lost the plot.
I really thought she was America's sweetheart. She was so sweet. I mean, this girl is so sweet. She was so sweet. She was so chill, and she was playing the chillest game. And I'm like, why is she so chill? Why is she so comfortable? Like, I had to audition my butt off. Like, I had to bring my energy level to 10 to get in here. Like, did she audition like that? Like, what kind of game is she playing, and why does she feel so safe? I thought that she was America's sweetheart, and she was going to get like some $25,000 prize just if she made it to jury. The conspiracies that were going through my head, there's nothing to think about in there. You just think everything. You don't know what's true and what's not true.
Now you mentioned on the feeds, and I appreciate this because I'm an astrology person, but you told us that you were a Libra rising.
Yes.
Do you know, and also your moon is Gemini, which I don't know if you know that.
It is. I do.
But those are both very analytical signs.
Yes.
And you like were to a T. It was like your brain did not turn off. You were like this side, this side, upside, this side, down. What? Which way? All the angles?
That's me. That is me all the time. The Leo kept me social, and the Libra tried to keep me balanced, and the Gemini kept me thinking. There was no way they could turn me off in that house. They had to kick me out.
Seriously. And that Libra really does go with the pairs, the duo that you
God,
set up.
it does. Yeah.
Now, as you were approaching the final six, the end game here, who ideally did you want to sit next to your final two?
Chada.
Was it Hannah?
Yes.
And then how about your final three? Would it have been Azah or Kyland?
Kyland.
Yeah.
I wanted me, Chada, because when I realized that the guys were I knew that the guys were working together. I would have loved for it to have been me, Chada, or Hannah. I call her Chada. Her last name's Chada. I would have loved for it to be me, Chada, and Azah at the end, because I wanted to see two women sitting there. And the best way for us to have two women sitting there is for three of us to take each other to the end. But I knew that Azah did not trust Chada, and I knew that she did not feel as closely to me. And so I figured that if she was probably thinking, if I agree to go to the end with these women, then I'm going to be the third person out, and I'm going to have to take final three. But she ended up with final three anyway. So we could have actually done that. But I knew that Kyland wanted to, I knew that Kyland and Chada and myself were at the bottom. So that would have been the only way for us to make it to final three. And I tried to tell him that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So let's talk about Kyland here, because he honestly, and I don't know if you know this, but he had positioned himself really well between you and X. He was carrying information that you said back to Xavier. He could have sat pretty while the two of you went after each other. Does he realize that taking you out at 6 actually hurt his game?
I don't think he will admit it. Kyland he is yet to say, I made a mistake in kicking you out at 6 and not taking you and Chada with me, or keeping you two in the game. He has said that we would have been able to move forward if we had both kept our lines of communication open. He did want to take me to final two, but I still think he believes that he made the right decision.
Yeah, we didn't see him take a ton of responsibility for things that maybe he could have been wrong about. We never saw that over the 85 days. Pizzy's asking an interesting question here. If you were to play again, would you need to stick with the same mission, or could you open your game a little bit?
Yeah, the mission is for me to win.
Okay? There we go. That's right.
The mission is me and only me, period.
Exactly. I agree. I hope you get to play again. Are you interested if it's like an All-Stars Legends cast?
It's so crazy. So Derek X and Chada and I were just having this conversation, like, will we go back? Will we go back? I'm like, if they call me next season and say, you, Derek, Chada, come back, I'm there.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, we're open to that. We would love to see
there.
it.
I just canceled 2 summers. Like, I have no idea what happens in the summer. It doesn't matter. I'm in the Big Brother house again.
We'll take it. Why was it so hard on Xavier when you won the final 8 HOH? What was this?
I think that, we all had an agreement. Well, we all understood that Alyssa and Claire needed to be an option to go on the block. It was not ideal for Xavier or myself to win because we were limited to one person that we could nominate. And I think Xavier felt like, well, I threw the comp. I could have stayed up there and done the same thing you did, but you didn't want to. And so I didn't mind having to. That's not true. I didn't think I was going to have to do that, but
Right.
I was willing to do it if need be. And so he felt that, I kind of went rogue. And I think that they felt that they could not control me. They had no idea what I would do in the game. And so that really upset them. But he's like, if I'm out here throwing comps and then, other people are not, they're playing their own personal game. But none of them were in the position to win a back-to-back HOH, which is kind of historic. I mean, why would you not take the opportunity? Why would you not be able to see that? I would want to have that. But of course, who wants you to build up your resume? But building up Kylan's resume, having 3 HOHs, and we weren't even down to 6, that wouldn't have made sense to me either. Uh-oh.
Right. Oh, flying earbuds. Yeah, I mean, just the argument that he wanted to protect Alyssa is self-interested game, right? You guys all won HOHs for your own self-interest. You all protected your duo for as long as you could, and that's all self-interest. So it was very confusing why all of a sudden your self-interest was like really bothersome when they were all doing it.
I don't know. And that's why I was upset when I was leaving, because I felt like it was personal. I did not do anything any differently than anyone else did. I just was a little bolder with my move. But, everyone was doing things for their own self-interest. But when it came to me, I was really attacked for it. And I don't know the answers to those questions, Sarah. Those are answers that they will have to give as to why they felt so strongly in their opinions about me doing something that they, in fact, were doing themselves.
I coined a term right around that time called Tiffagony, little combo of Tiffany and misogyny. It's similar to jealousy that we've had for years.
Oh, yeah.
I think there was a little Tiffagony in the house that was happening.
I agree with you on that. I think there was some Tiffagony going on. That's exactly what it was. It's the best way to put it.
Do you think that there was ever, well, I guess like closer to this time that you were winning HOH, was Xavier considering bringing Alyssa and breaking the cookout final 6? Do you think that was part of his plan?
I don't think that anyone planned on breaking up the 6, or so I hope. I've heard some things, that I have not. I've heard some things, but since I haven't seen them or heard them with my own ears, I won't say. But I was told that people were thinking about taking me out before 6. I don't think Xavier ever wanted to veer away from the plan, but I do think that when I won that second HOH, that they probably considered like, let's just kick her out and keep Alyssa. I'm not going to say they didn't think about that. I think that might have been a consideration.
Well,
that's why I knew I was leaving at 6.
For the record, we all thought you winning, obviously historic, and we wanted to see you do that. And thank you for sparing us from another Kylan HOH.
Yes.
So
I was saying to the house, like, did I not do you a favor? Did I not do the house a favor?
I mean, you guys complained about the meetings, but then you got to leave. We had to sit here and continue and then watch the next 4-hour meeting. It was a lot. So I appreciated it.
You're welcome.
But also the fact that you were willing to take out Claire, I felt like was like the biggest thing you could do for the cookout. You were like waving a flag, being like, I am so here for the cookout. How was that in that moment, talking to her? Like, oh, how was that for you?
I never wanted to be in that position. I never thought that I would be. I expected to send Alyssa home that week, but my loyalty to the cookout was what I put first. And everybody wanted me to lie to Claire about why she was going on the block. Claire meant so much more to me than that. I wanted to make sure that Claire and I were going to continue our friendship outside of that house, outside of that game. And I knew she would never do that to me. I needed to be as transparent as I could with her about why I was making the decision that I was making. And it hurt. It hurt a lot because Claire would never have done that to me. And I know she would never have done that to me. And that was what hurt me so bad, is I never in any world could I imagine Claire turning against me. And so for me to have to put her on the block and tell her that I was putting her on the block and know that she was going home, it was the hardest thing I had to do in that house. They were hoping that that was going to destroy my relationship with Claire, that would destroy my reputation with the jury. And when Claire still loved me after, I think that just made it even worse for everyone else.
Well, I mean, it made it great, at least from a viewer's perspective, that she handled it so well, because that's how we were feeling watching. Like, we loved you guys
the house,
together.
the six, they did not like that we still were together even after that. I think they were hoping it was going to blow everything up and I was going to be hated by Claire and the jury.
Sure.
But I could not do that to Claire.
Sorry, the touch of Tiffany. It's just too good. It's not going to happen, guys. What is your relationship with Claire like? Are you going to still be friends?
Of course, I love Claire. Claire is my girl. That would have hurt me more than anything for me to leave that game and Claire to just say, Tiff, I just cannot be your friend, because I love Claire. Always will. I want to see who this woman becomes. She is so phenomenal. Claire is so funny. She was my best friend. The conversation broke my heart too. I adore her, and I don't like to see anybody that I love hurt. But you know what? I actually was glad that no one else was able to take her out. At the end of the day, I didn't want to have to be the one to take her out, but I'm glad that they weren't able to do it.
Right. Yeah. It kind of kept the power in your hands. And I mean, you're already an icon at that point, but that solidified it. So what was it like then going into the jury house as the first cookout member and having to talk to these people who you had a great relationship with, all of them, and they kind of already knew? So did you have to say much? What was that like, being sort of the spokesperson?
I did not know what they knew. I did not know if they knew anything. So I was going in fully blind, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to give them the information that they would need. I did not want us to be hated. We all genuinely love the other outside of the cookout. We love the people that we were partnered with, that we played this game with. Even the people that we weren't partnered. Derek X, I love Derek X. I cried so hard when Derek X left. You know, we did not want to lose those relationships. So when I went into the jury house, I just really wanted to let them know this was nothing personal and it was nothing against anyone else. We had a mission day one and we had to choose the mission. But if we could have played it differently, it would have definitely been done differently. And so they were very receptive. They were very welcoming. Everyone, it was still all love. I personally felt some guilt because, you know, it's almost like realizing for them that maybe they never had a chance in all of the game that they were playing. But I mean, that's the thing with an alliance. Like, the whole thing about an alliance is to get the people who are not in your alliance out. So essentially, you don't want anyone to ever have a chance, but the people who are in the alliance. And so, you know, the fact that they were still loving and receptive, it made it that much more genuine for us.
Yeah, we agreed. We loved, this is one of the best juries we've ever seen. Those house guests were so much fun. We loved all the jury segments. Did you enjoy being in the jury house? Was it as fun as it seemed?
Sarah, let me tell you, I loved being in the jury house. When I got there and I got to see all of my friends, because see, my friends were in the jury house. So, except Chada, I was like, hey, this is where the party is. We had a great time. We had the pool. We got to watch a couple movies. We played games. We could sing real music. We could lay out. We could do whatever we wanted to do. We got to talk about some secrets and tell some stuff. So, yeah, the jury house was where the fun was. I was happy to be there at that point. I was like, my game is over. Take me to my friends. And me
I
and
had
Sarah Beth actually bonded really
oh,
tightly in the jury house. Like, and I owed her so much of an apology. And I was so honest with her. And I just told her, like, I don't want you to think I hate you. As a person and personally, I never disliked Sarah Beth. I just needed her to separate from Kylan because I was trying to get our final two solidified. And I just didn't feel that I had him at all. And
right.
she was honestly the biggest threat for me from the women in the house, because I never felt that I would be able to control her vote
Mhm.
or her HOH. So it was never personal, but we all bonded, and it was just great. We needed the jury house, honestly.
What is your like highlight? What are your favorite moments? What was the highlight of the whole season for you?
I can't deny that the biggest highlight for me was when we got to 6. When we got to 6 and just accomplishing what we did and seeing us, that all of the hard work we had put in, that it really panned out, and it was all for something, and all of the fighting and all of the disagreeing, and whatever we had to do, we did it, but we did it together and we made it together. That was that was a thrill. But one of my highlights outside of the cookout was when me and Claire were trying to flip that vote on for Christian. Now, let me tell you, Claire and I were having us a big brother super fan moment in the head of
Yes.
household room. I'm like, Claire, girl, what we gonna do? Are we gonna flip this vote? Claire, what is your gut? Claire's like, Tiff, what does your gut tell you? I'm like, Claire, my gut says flip. She's like, are we gonna flip, Tiff? I'm like, we're gonna flip, Claire.
Yeah, that was really fun because at first Claire was like, Tiff, we got to think about Derek. I don't know about this. But yeah, you guys like rolled into that super fan. You were like, but we could flip a vote. And you're like,
yes. I mean, I am a Big Brother fan. Like, I am an Evil Dick, Dan Giesling fan. I love the drama. I want to see something happen, but I couldn't play that type of game because there was too much on the line. And I think even that week was a week that my alliance started wondering, like, what is she up to? And then they also realized that I actually probably had the influence to get that done. If I would have wanted to flip the vote, I could have flipped it. But because of my alliance, I didn't. And I think that they realized, like, she's got too much power. We gotta take some of this away from her. And I had not even won HOH at that point.
Right. I've got a few questions here that come from Twitter. This one from Adam is asking, if you were to go back and play an all-star season, who would you want to play with? Who would you want to align with?
I would definitely want to take Derek and Shada and Claire. Always. I would definitely take them.
What about a Dan or a
Dan does not want to play Big Brother anymore. Now give me Evil Dick. I'm so serious. You guys bring Evil Dick back, because that was me and Frenchie, honestly, week 1. Me and Frenchie were about to be Evil Dick. We were both evil and we were ready to flip rogue votes. But yes, if Evil Dick was to come back and play, I would just put everything on him. Like, I don't know. I didn't even know he was doing that. Are you kidding?
Right. That'd be great. Yes. What about other reality shows? Our friend Chantel is asking. I also got a lot of questions about Survivor specifically. Are there any other shows you would?
So the crazy thing about me is the only show I ever watch is Big Brother. I have never seen Survivor. I've never seen Amazing Race.
What?
I've never seen The Challenge. I am such a Big Brother super fan that I am so loyal, okay? Though I'm so loyal to Big Brother, I will only watch Big Brother. But this was so exciting. I really can't say that I would not do another one. I might, but living in the wilderness, are you kidding? What about my hair? What am I supposed to do with that? I don't know.
They don't eat
beans and rice. Are you kidding? I don't know.
Do you watch BB Can? Are you that big of a fan? Do you watch Canada?
So I don't know how to watch. I tried to watch BB Can so many times. So people have been telling me they're going to show me how to stream it.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I'm not that tech savvy, but I remember before coming here, like, trying to get online, like, to watch BB Can. I tried to watch BB Can last year, and they're like, oh, you got to do this, and you got to watch it here, and you got to watch it there. I'm like, where's Paramount Plus?
Right. We will all help you watch it. We can show you how. What about Celebrity Big Brother coming up this winter? Do you have any celebs you want to see on this season?
Of course. So I'm trying to see. I do. I want to see Todrick on there. I want to see Todrick Hall. He's
your new best friend.
Yes, he's now my
Did,
new best friend. He is so funny. Him and I, why did we have the same dream? He had a dream while I was in the Big Brother house that I had while I was in the Big Brother house. It's crazy because I
what?
told people in the Big Brother house about my dream. And then
Uh-huh.
we're here, and Tadra goes, I had a dream that there were like two Big Brother houses and they were both competing at the same time. I was like, I had that dream. I had that
Whoa.
dream in the house. We are so much alike. So, and I think first of all, he plays Big Brother on a regular basis and he doesn't even know it. I'm like, listen,
Mm-hmm.
dude, you are not even in the house, but you definitely need to go. I love to see him on Celebrity BB.
Are you never leaving? Are you just moved into his house? Is that
I am definitely leaving, but not before my son comes to visit. My son's on his way to LA and we're going to Disneyland. So for all you Twitter fans
Oh,
who are talking crap about me not going to see
oh,
my son, he had homecoming this week. He plays in the band. He's got a big part to do. So he's doing his homecoming thing. He's got to finish his school. And then Mama Pat said he could come to LA. So he will be here. I am that kind of mama.
I love that Mama Pat had to give him permission, and I'm glad that he's
Of
coming
course.
out.
Of
That's
course, I
so
was like,
exciting.
Mom, you should have saw me. I was like a kid trying to ask, like, Mom, so do you think that Christian might be able to come out here? But if you don't think though, then it's fine. I'll just come. She was like, well, he has school. I'm like, I know. But I was tiptoeing around it, but then she finally agreed that he could come.
You're like school schmool. I just like spent a summer on a reality show. Like it's a different life. Living it
I'm like,
up.
I will make sure he gets his work done.
Well, I hate to bring down the vibe just a little bit here, but
Okay.
there are so many people asking, are you fully aware of how the cookout men spoke about the cookout women? Have
No,
you seen this stuff? Okay.
no.
Well, I don't want to
I've
be the
not.
one to show it to you.
I
So
I am watching. Please, I am watching the season. We all started. We're kind of watching it together. We are probably at. Let me see. Whitney just left. No. Derek X just won HOH. So this is week 5. He's made his nominations, which is Brittany and Sarah Beth. And so that's where I am. I guess we're going to start taking some turn events. I want to see what America saw. And I don't know if America saw more than what the show exposed. I don't know if these are from live feed clips or what that people are saying that they're disappointed in the way that the men were talking about the women. The men have separate, individually come and made their apologies for the things that they said and the way that we were treated. And so I really do appreciate that. I can't really express how I feel about it because I haven't seen it to know. But I will say
right.
that as a mother, I have a son and he's 14 and I know how I'm raising him. And I would never want him. He has never seen me disrespected and he knows I don't tolerate disrespect. And I would never want him to be a young man who grows up. I've taught him to express himself very respectfully. There's a way that you get your feelings out, that you say how you feel without having to degrade or disrespect anyone. And even at 14, I don't think I have to reiterate that to my son. He does a very good job of handling himself and getting his point across without demeaning anyone. But if he actually has seen those things and he's seen, heard what people are saying about me, I know those are things that he doesn't like. And I know that there are young girls out there who are saying, we love Tiffany or we love Hannah or we love Azza. And, they don't want to see us being disrespected. And I don't want any young woman or any young lady or any young girl to feel that it's okay for men or women or anyone to disrespect you or degrade you or strip you of your character. It's definitely not appropriate. So I have not specifically seen those things to comment on them, but how I feel personally about the guys is, we're all a family. I am willing to forgive. It's a lot easier on me to forgive a person because I don't like to walk around harboring hate. I just can't make myself stay upset. I think it's a way more stressful on the person to not forgive, who's not forgiving, and so for me, I'm just like, I like peace at all costs. I'm a peaceful person. So I don't know what they said. I will see those things at some point, but, I know how I like to be treated and how I like to treat people. And I know how I raise my son to treat people. And if they are coming across in a way that I don't agree with, they know that, in the house though, it's a pressure cooker. You do say things and you feel a certain way. In the real world, we have a way to escape. We could go in the house and we could, you can go, if I'm at your house and I don't like what you're saying, I don't like what you're doing, I can get in my car, I can get on the phone, I can vent, I can cuss, I can whatever, I can say terrible things things about you that no one would ever know. In the house, everything is recorded, and you don't have a way to escape. You don't have a way to vent. And it's, unfortunately, those things were captured, and everybody has to hold their own selves accountable for their own actions. But I do feel that we have to find a better way to express ourselves, and especially when we know that the world is watching.
I appreciate that. I mean, most of it is on the feeds. They didn't show a ton of it on the episodes. So I don't know how much you will see. And obviously your relationship with the men is going to be totally different. But I hate that the internet screams a lot, but it is important because we did watch way too many days of basically misogyny and sexism in the house. So I think it's important that conversations are being had, and hopefully they're meaningful and people aren't yelling and just hating, and we are allowing for apologies and growth from the men, because a lot of times it's subconscious and they don't realize that it's there. So I hope that you understand the conversations are going to be happening out there, but we absolutely appreciate that, you have to take it individually with the people that you actually have a relationship with.
One of the things I do want to address and that I have seen out there is, people are saying, well, that's fine that they apologize to you, but, we had to sit and watch and endure that. And, I do understand that is separate. It's together, but it's separate. And so I understand when I took myself out of the situation of it being directed at me, and I put myself in the situation of America at home watching. And if I'm watching with my niece, which I have pictures of my niece in the HOH room, she's 14. And my son is 14. And if I was at home and I was watching this show with my niece and my son, I would not feel comfortable not addressing to them and saying, hey, you guys know that this is not the way that you should be talked to, and that this is not the way that you should speak. So I had to take myself out of this position of it being directed at me, because I take things differently when they're directed at me. I take things with a grain of salt. I don't care what you say about me. You can't hurt my feelings. But if you attack someone that I love, you'll see a different side of me. Like when SB was coming after Hannah, that's when I got upset. You can come after me and I don't care, but you come after somebody I love and it's a problem. And so when I took myself out of it being directed at me, and I sat myself in the position of America watching, I have to say that if whatever was being said, and like I said, I don't know specifically, I would not be comfortable either as a fan of the show, watching with my children or watching with my 21-year-old and no one saying, hey, this isn't right. I would definitely look at her or him and go, I hope you're not out there talking about people like that. I hope that you're not out there handling situations like that. I hope you don't ever let anyone say these things about you. But as you know, they never said those things to my face.
Interesting how that happens. Well, Miss Tiffany, the queen, I know you have more interviews to do. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to stop over here and get to chat with you. I wish you all the best, whether we see you on more shows or not. I just hope everything good goes your way.
Thank you, Sarah, for having me. I felt amazing in this interview. You made me feel so comfortable. I'm glad I got to get some of those things off of my chest. So kudos to you. I'm glad you got me. And anytime we can chat.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, everyone in the chat.
Thank you, America. It's your favorite player. And I would not be your favorite player if it wasn't for America. So I love America. Thank you for your support. And as I always said in my lives, hey, America.
That's right.
Hi, America.
Yay, we appreciate it.
Energy. Send me some positive energy.
All of it going your way. Thank you. We'll see you later. Bye.
Okay, bye.